So what's up YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Once again, you know, I appreciate having you here. I'm back in the garage. We're going to do some more stuff. That's right, glutton for punishment. As I've said on many occasions, I'm not a mechanic, but you know that by now. I'm just a guy that does stuff in the garage. By no means take this as a how-to video. Yes, you get some tips from it. Yes, you might learn something. Right, so the tyre I'm going to put on is this beauty here, which is a Michelin tracker. It's a 120/90/18 for the back and obviously a 21 for the front. We're not doing the front today, we're just doing the back. Just to make it a little bit harder, I'm going to fit this, which is a tubeless system, so I can run low pressures on the back without any tube in there. Hence it's called tubeless. I don't know if I showed you last time, but I bought the ProWorks tyre changer. I'm looking down there because it is down there. I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm not strange. I haven't got a little tiny person telling me what to do. Well, I have. She's called my wife, but not for this video. Anyway, let me show you. I'm going to take out my phone and show you the equipment I've got for this job. So here she is in all her glory, the wonderful CRF250 Rally. A little bit naked at the back there, but this is the tyre that's coming off. This is the AC10 that I've been running. I don't need to take it off, it's still got some life left in it, but I've got those, so I want to give them a go. This hasn't been used, I think, since about June last year, so it's been a long while. I was aiming to have worn these out by now, but I haven't. So I'm going to keep these as a spare set. That's the back, and that is the front. So a little bit of life left in them yet. I can spin them round and use them the other way. It is probably worthwhile keeping these on, but for the sake of something to do, and I'm curious to see what they handle like, which are trackers, I'm going to fit them also with the tubeless system because I want to fit that anyway, and I didn't see the point of fitting the tubeless system and putting the old tyres back on. Right, so the equipment I've got is I've got some new tyre levers here. These are longer ones, so hopefully a little bit better. They're the old ones I used. Ignore that, we don't need that. I've got some rim protection there and some rim protection that came with the tyre levers. I've got a little bit of a brush there. What do you want a brush for? Because this time I've got tyre lube and some gloves. The gloves are not important, but the tyre lube is. If you remember last time when I changed the tyres, or attempted to change the tyres, it was the front one. I did it with just these tyre levers here and no lube. That's right, I went in dry. And what happened with the front was, I ended up doing about 4 punches, I think, because I lost my temper with it. So I went a bit crazy on it and we ended up with punches. I had to put a new tube in there, and in the end Tubliss did it for me, so I gave up. But this time I've got this, which is a ProWorks tyre changer, bead breaker, whatever you want to call it. The idea is that gives you a little bit more leverage, so hopefully it's a little bit easier, and the wheel goes on there, which is nice, because last time I did it on the floor and I was a bit worried about either the brake disc that side or the sprocket on that side. I don't know why I'm showing you those, you know what they look like. So for the eagle-eyed amongst you, you will notice that I'm running in the red here on the chain adjustment, and it's not because my chain is stretched beyond all belief, it's because I'm running a smaller sprocket up here, so therefore the chain is a little bit too long, so it's sitting back there. It could probably do with taking one of the links out, but I'm not going to bother at the moment. I might actually get a new chain and sprocket altogether. But the annoying thing about this is you've got an adjustment level here. As you can see, it's not on the other side, so you've got nothing to line it up with. So that's a little bit annoying. But I do have one of these Chain Monkey lasers, so that'll line it up nicely. And also one of these Chain Monkey adjusters, which are handy. I mean, they're not necessary, they just make life a little bit easier. Right, so that's the equipment, the tools. I've also got a hammer, because everyone needs a hammer. You need a hammer for every job, for when it goes wrong. If you get frustrated, you hit it. As I've said many times, don't watch this if you're looking for mechanical genius. You're not going to get one. What you're going to get is a guy that just tries stuff. This is the first time I've fitted a tubeless system to any bike. It's not the first time I've attempted to get a tyre off and on. Last time it was disastrous. If you are on my Instagram, you will know I got frustrated because I didn't have the proper equipment. I had crap, cheap Amazon stuff. I've not got much more expensive Amazon stuff now, but it's a little bit better. And hopefully the ProWorks wheel stand will help me out no end. We shall see. We will crack on. First port of call is to get the rear wheel off. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to jack it up a little bit so I can take the base plate out of the stand. The bit where you can drop the back wheel through. Oh, it's all technical stuff here. So let's just crank the centre stand up. I've loosened the little straps at the front so we can get just enough to spin that back wheel. Once that's up in the air, in theory, there we go. That just slides out there, so now you've got a lovely big gap for the wheel to drop into. We've got a 24mm on this side, 19 on the other side, so we've got a nice breaker bar for this one. Oh dear, we need it. Hopefully I'm not going to ping the straps at the front. There we go. Alright, so let's just knock that out. These will fall out as well, just to let you know. These. I could do with a little bar to push it through. Just going to use this, don't worry, it's an old rubbish one, but hopefully it'll do the job. There we go. I've just got it balancing on the side there because I forgot to put my gloves on. I hope you haven't come here for professional stuff. You'll be most disappointed. Here we go. Now we're talking. Let's take that one out. Take both sides. Let's get that out of the way. And there we have a wheel. Right, so here we are. We have the tyre on the machine. I've set that up so the bead breaker will sit just there on the edge. I've just got to take the air out now, so let's do that. The only problem with this is it's resting on the spokes, which I'm not happy about. So next time, I think what I'm going to do is get some old hose and wrap it round just to make it a little bit softer. But it's not the most expensive wheel in the world, so we won't lose sleep over it. It's already got a few scratches on where I've been down the road, mucking around, jumping over stuff. And I use the word jumping extremely loosely. So just a little 12mm on here, loosen the valve. Turn it around so you can see. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? This is what you tuned in for, people. There will be many parts of this video that I do wrong. You're just going to have to get used to it. I'm learning on the go, so to speak, if that's even a saying. Is that a saying? Anyway, the aim of these videos are, so basically you guys out there that are afraid of doing their own maintenance, don't be. Just have a go. I mean, I am blessed that I've got another two bikes. I've got the Super Cub and got the Africa Twin. So I get this completely wrong. I'm not stuck. But I'm having a go and I'm enjoying it. It's something to do. It's keeping the mind occupied. It is a little bit of therapy at times. At times it's anti-therapy because I get annoyed. But anyway, let's crack on. We shall do, I suppose it's do this next, isn't it? Let's see if I can break the bead. I see people do this on the telly all the time. So what I do is just squash it down a little bit, because I'll take this side off, flip the tyre over and then try and drop it down. That's the theory. I just want to loosen it a little bit. I don't know if you have to do this or not, but we are. Oh, that'll do. Right, so let's stick one under there and then we can move along. Let's get this out of the way. That'll help, doesn't it? I swear this tyre could be flatter. It's very, very tough. I told you I'm learning on the job. Stick two in there together. There we go. And then I can put that one under there. Shove that one under there. And then just work my way along. Doing it slowly. This is probably where you need to invest in better quality stuff. You know what they say, a bad workman always blames their tools. That makes me a bad workman. Right, let's just use this so I can get a little bit of grip in there. So that side's off, let's flip it over. Camera turned off then, I'm not sure when it turned off, so what I've done is put the nut back on. I've reinserted the valve inside using this tool. Just going to put the cap on, and then I can throw this inner tube to one side and we can keep this as a spare. I probably won't use that too much on the trail. When I'm out and about, I tend to take a 21-inch front spare inner tube because that'll fit in the rear and the front, whereas if you just take the rear, it won't fit in the front. So you can use a 21-inch inner tube in the rear and also the front, so you only need to take one as an emergency spare. Tip of the day. Right, so let's just throw this over and then hopefully we can get this tyre off. This is where you need a little bit of brute force, but I don't want to put too much on because I don't want the tyre to just fall down and I'll face plant into a sprocket. So that's broken already. That lasted 10 minutes and it's broken. I'm hoping we're going to get to a point where it just drops off the rim. It's a question of getting your technique down. I mean, I could move around the rim, but this channel's the epitome of laziness. Right, there we go, tyre off. Woo! That was hard work. Right, so what I'm going to do now is just clean up the interior of the wheel and tighten any spokes if they need tightening. They all look pretty good, but I'm just going to go over it. Going to take this little rubber strip off here and see what we're left with underneath. You can see the little bolts, the ends, and this is where the spokes sit in, so you can tighten them up from here, or you can tighten them up using a little spoke spanner on here. But I think they're okay. We didn't do them that long ago, so they should still be okay. But what I'm going to do, as I said, is take this little rubber bit off here and then give it a nice clean up. And then we'll open the tubeless kit over there. We'll put some new gloves on and then we'll crack on with the rest of it. So we're just giving this a little bit of a clean up while we've got the tyre off. You might as well. And what this will hopefully do is help the tape that goes on the inside stick a little bit better, because this is alcohol, so this should get rid of any oils or sticky residues or anything like that. Right, so now that's cleaned up, I've got to drill a hole in the rim. That's the scary bit. But what I want to show you guys first of all is what's in the kit. First of all, we have this, which is the inner tube. This is the main bit of it. This is the rim lock side, and inside you've got an inner tube in here, and this pumps up to, I don't know, well over 100 psi, and this expands and then locks the red bit into the rim. That's how the air doesn't leak, along with the tape that's supplied. As you can see, you've got two chambers. You've got the high pressure chamber and the normal chamber. We shall go more through that when I'm installing it. You've also got this, which is a very important instructions, but this will sit in the tyre when you mount it all in. Again, we shall go through that when we get to that bit, but this just helps it to slide into the tyre and onto the rim. It might make sense a little bit later. I'm not going to guarantee that, but it might. And this is the Gen 2 tape, and this is slightly different from the Gen 1, I believe. On Gen 1 you went round once, but this you go around 3 times, once in the center and then slightly on the shoulder on each side. A little sticker kit, because they obviously know I'm going to scratch my rim, so that's quite handy. Thank you, Tubliss. I probably will put those on to hide some of the scuffs. And also, most importantly, you get some instructions. I've also watched a video on YouTube, the Tubliss video, to see how it's done. They make it look easy. Obviously, I'm not going to make it look that easy, because remember the motto, I make the mistakes so you don't have to. Right, so let's go and grab an 11mm drill and drill a hole in the wheel. Right, before we do that, I just want to show you this. That's the hole, that's the one I'm probably going to drill. But on Hondas, there's also another, I don't know if you can see that here, this little bit here, that needs to come out, and that's another hole. That's basically so you can run rim locks. So that's going to come out, which should just, in theory, there we go, just pop out. And then we've got another hole, that's the smaller one. So that's going to be for the smaller of the valves. And then this one here is going to be for the main valve. Now on KTM's, I believe that the hole here and the next hole are 4 spokes apart, so they're only that far apart. But on the Japanese stuff, it's near enough on the opposite side of the wheel. If you do not have another hole, you're going to have to drill one, but they recommend make it at least 4 spokes apart from this one. Well, not this one, because this one's mine, but you know what I mean. Anyway, little bit of a tip there. Didn't expect that, did you? Not the best drill bits I've ever had in my life. I'm going to blame the tools again, but there you go. The hole's now 11mm. There's a lot of metal burrs around it, so make sure you sand off around the edges both on this side and the other side, and that's just to make it a little bit smoother, because you don't want anything sharp near any kind of tyres, inner tubes or anything. So just hoover that up, get rid of that and sand it down so it's nice and neat. I mean, you can just do it with the hand, but that's all I could find. That's the only bit of sandpaper I could find. So I did take the wheel off, do that bit by hand with the same wheel, but that bit with the Dremel. Just touched it lightly. Don't go mad. You don't want to kind of dig in and make the hole bigger. You just want to get the surface burrs off. Right, so now we're going to install the tape onto the rim. And I've stolen this idea from one of the YouTube videos I watched. They put it in a bucket, and I thought that's a good idea, because then it's nice and easy to do that with the wheel. So what we're going to do is we're going to run it along the middle until we do one full one up to here, and then we're going to go up to one side, either that side or that side, not right to the edge. You can see, I don't know if you can see, there's a little corrugated bit here. I don't want to cover that. I want to just get it just on the lip, maybe a couple of millimeters away from the edge. But we will see when we get around there. But we're going to do it in 3 continuous motions. We're going to go around once to there, then move to one side once more, then we're going to move to the other side. Also need one of these, a knife, obviously, so you can cut it at the end, and you're going to need to cut holes where the valves go. I'm quite nervous, you know, but I don't know why I'm so nervous. It's only basically sticking tape, isn't it? Right, so let's start right there. And then we'll work our way around, pulling it tight and working it into the wheel. Look at me sounding all professional. It's only because I saw someone say that on a video, so I thought I'd copy them. I'm keeping it tight, but I'm not stretching it too much. Just keeping some tension in it. A bit like this video, to see if it goes right or wrong. There's a little bit of tension in it. I can't deny it. There's a little bit of tension in the room. Right, so we've gone round once, so I'm just gonna go slightly over, and that's so there's no air gap there, and then I'm gonna come up onto this side up to about there. So I don't know if you can see that. So I've come up onto the side there, but I'm not touching this corrugated bit at the end. I'm keeping it a little bit in, a few millimeters from the edge, and I'm going to go around, do one full circuit of that, then swap over to the other side. And then we're coming to the end again, so I'm going to wrap it up to there, and then I'm going to come across and go up the other side. Try not to get any creases in it. Make sure you get all the air bubbles out as you're going along. This one's a little bit more awkward, left-handed, and trying to film. I say awkward, it's not that awkward. I'm just being a drama queen. And then I'm just going to go around it and work it in again to make sure it's all nice and solid in all the nooks and crannies. Working out any little air bubbles that I find along the way. So what I've got to do now is locate where the valve holes are and then just cut a little hole in this tape. Trying to make it as neat as possible. So that's one. This is where you kind of want more of a craft knife than one of these. This is slightly too big and I don't have a craft knife. If I was doing this again, I definitely would. So there we go, 2 holes. That's the smaller one and that's the larger one. So now what we've got to do is put it back on the stand and then line up where the valves go. First of all, I'm going to line that up with the hole that I want that to go in, and then I'm going to line that up roughly with that hole where I want this to go in, because I've got the 2 holes, and I'm going to give it a good old squirt with a bit of soapy water. Some professional soapy water. And I'm also going to put these gloves on as well, because I don't want to smack my hands on anything sharp. Looks about right. You know what? It's easier without those. Let's give that a good squirt in. I'm going to do that off camera. Give that a little bit of soapy sexual love. Technical term. And then I'm going to shove that one in there. This is where it becomes hard when you've got the two different valves. When they're both on the same side, it's a lot easier. Look at me talking like I've done this before. I haven't. So right, I'm going to get that side on, and then somehow I've got to squash this down and get this into there. There we go. Sit that in the middle so it sits in the, I think they call it the drop centre. And just put this little thing on, but not tighten it, just halfway. The actual hex nut stays on the inside of the rim. And then I'm going to put this one on. Again, not tying it up, just so it doesn't slip out. So we're back, and before we mount it on, if you have got a directional tyre, obviously make sure it's the right way round. The beauty of these is, I don't know if you can see that, let's get it down there, is there, it's got rear and it's got arrows both ways, which means you can put this on, and when it wears out, you can then flip it over like so, which I also could have done with this tyre. I can flip that one round to basically make it longer in life, but you can see the difference. I've got much more traction in the middle here than what was left here, but as I said, I'm still going to keep hold of that for when it's dry. That will still be a good tyre. Again, using the soapy water, need to put this in. This is the guide that should help it sit into the tyre. Let's just give that a nice squirt all the way around. And then we're going to go rim lock on the bottom first. Drop that in. You need to push down on the top as well. And basically you want to get it in so the rim drops right inside. So let's stack that right up against the back. Put the rim lock at the bottom. Oh, one of the major problems of a knobbly tyre, or knobby tyre, is it's not that comfortable to lean on. Right, so now let's get this tyre on properly. Right, we're going to go this side first. Let's give her a squirt. So I can start rim lock side. Right, the tyre's on. I didn't realise until I actually put the tyre on fully that the automatic stop on the camera went, so you didn't see the end of the tyre. It was a pain in the arse. Hopefully we've got no punctures. Hopefully I haven't ruined the tubeless system. We'll only find out in a minute when I inflate it. But it's all on. It's a lot easier than when I did it last time, but still a pain in the backside. Obviously the more you do it, the better the technique you get. So what I'm going to do now is put soapy water all down here. I'm going to create a little bit of a gap and fill it with soapy water this side and the other side. Slosh it around a bit. Like I said, put lots of this on. Make sure it seeps down right into the, what's the word, the tubeless system. So I'm just going to put that on, let that sink down a bit, and then I'll do the other side. Let's just fill it up first, and then just get that in there, flip it over, do the same on this side. So let that sink in there, and they recommend just bouncing it around just to slosh it around on the inside, and then we should be ready to go for the inflate. Fingers crossed. Right, so I've got one of these, which is, it was a free gift with one of my tools, so I'm going to see if it works. It says it goes up to 150 psi. I'm not sure how long that will take, but let's stick this on the high pressure one and we'll see what that takes, or what this goes up to. So let's lock that in place. and hopefully I should be able to hear it pop even if you can't. Right, that is at 110 psi. I can see some bubbles coming out of here, but I haven't tightened that up yet. I'm going to use the torque wrench on that before I pump up the rest of the tyre. Right, so let's tighten this up to the right torque, and then I'm going to put another 10 pounds of pressure in. It lost quite a bit then. We were down to 80, so I'm going to stick it back up to 110 and then leave it for a little while. There you go, that's just over 110. And then I'm going to inflate this one to about 20. I actually went up to 30 with that one. So we've got 110 on the inner bladder and 30 on the outer. So I'm going to leave that, and hopefully overnight that's not going to go down. I'm not going to put it on the bike just yet. I'm going to put it on tomorrow. Whew. Right, so there you go. Ugh. One wheel, all tubeless up, tyres on, all inflated, ready to go. Well, it will be tomorrow when I put it back on the bike. I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm going to let it sit overnight. It's got 110 psi on the tubeless bladder, and it's got 30 psi in the standard tyre. So I'm going to leave that overnight and see if any of that leaks out. Fingers crossed it doesn't. I hope you enjoyed the video. As I said before on many occasions, this is not a tutorial, this is not a how-to, this is how I did it. And even I know now that I made mistakes in that video. So leave a comment down in the comment section if you've got something constructive to say to help me for next time. But don't just get in there and slag me off, because it puts off people having a go and trying. And that's what these videos are all about, just having a go. What have you learned? Use proper tools. It's much easier with the tools. The ProWorks tyre changer thing broke first attempt, so I'm going to have to strengthen that and try and fix that. It works as a wheel stand, but that's about it. The rest of it is pretty pants, but it was cheap. Tyre irons, invest in some really good quality ones. And also, I'm impressed with this. This was just a freebie when I bought my drill, and I thought that would be okay for the push bikes and just topping up the tyres. But that hit 110 psi really quickly, and I'm very impressed with that. And it just runs off the same batteries that the drills run off, so that's cool. Very impressed with that, and it goes up to 150 psi. Right, so let's end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. As I said before, not a tutorial, just a guy doing stuff in the garage, mostly wrong. But remember the tagline, I do things wrong, so you guys don't have to. I shall see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, and do all those things that you need to do. Once again, see you soon. Take care. You know I love you all. Stay safe. Fish out. You should know that by now. I'm just getting on doing stuff for the first time. Well, most of the stuff. Learn to speak English. I forgot what I was saying. Oh my God. Oh, you think I'll be able to do this by now? And compose. By no means take this as a professional how-to video of this is me fitting. Just for those of interest, because I know someone's going to point it out, it's in the red here. It's not because my chain has a for those of you that are interested, it's in the red here, and that's not because my train, it's not because I can speak. And for those of you interested, and for those of you that are eagle-eyed, will see this is in the red. It's not because my chain, I can't say chain, why can't I say chain? And also the chain monkey, broken adjuster. Yeah, so I've got these rim shields. Every man needs a rim shield. And you can crank against them, and hopefully it stops your rim being scratched. There's nothing worse than a heavily scratched rim. Oh dear. And in the meantime, it's gone completely back on the rim. Do you know what? I like Tubliss. Oh, sorry. Where the forks and spokes. And it just runs off the same batteries. Right, so that's tied it. Right, so that's gone all good game, good game. Right, so let's go grab an 11mm drill and then drill a hole in my rim. Sounds wrong. Such a child. Stop being a child. Right, so let's go and find an 11mm drill bit according to this, and then I've got to drill a hole in my rear rim. Can't do it. Can't do it. Compose yourself, you're an adult. So this is where the... I just hit myself in the shin. Ow. Oh, I don't know whether you just heard that, but that bonk was my shin. All because I was going to do an MC Hammer joke and I just couldn't do it. You can't touch this.
Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead, get gone. Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead and get gone.